This is a free sample of the book, Never Ghosted Again, The Art of Being Irresistible, by Cairo, Copeland. The first half of this book is posted right here on YouTube, free for everyone to listen to. If you like this content and want to hear or read the rest, or want to listen to it free of ads, visit reinventideal.com/ghosted. The book is available on Kindle, paperback, and Audible at reinventideal.com/ghosted.
Chapter 6. The 4 Female Archetypes. Moving on to the women you really want, the ones that are right around your age or younger. We must give you a primer on how each one acts and reacts, what to expect and possibly predict, and how you can adapt to their personalities. This is not a cumulative list of all women, as you saw in the section on online dating. There are some women you don't even want to consider. On that note, a very important point needs to be made here. You should only be seeking the top 10% of women. While the art of being irresistible sounds like a magic formula that will make all women want you, this is not a realistic possibility. Searching for acceptance from everyone will make you invisible to everyone. But consequently, mastering the ability to be appealing to the top 10% of women will make you appealing to most of the others as well. What is meant by the top 10% is merely that these are the most physically attractive ones. Sure, you want the one you end up with to be able to offer more than just eye candy, but the beauty of their personality is not as obviously advertised as the beauty of their exterior. You're using their outer beauty only as a hint of where to start looking, not the sign of where to stop. As you may have already seen, sometimes even the most physically attractive have beauty that is merely skin deep. This section will analyze the good, the bad, and the ugly, but only ugly on the inside. You will find that among this top 10%, the women fall into 4 categories. They are the immediate rejecter, the party girl, the attention-seeking manipulator, and the relationship seeker. This is not to render judgments on any one of these 4 as far as their value as a human goes, but merely to analyze their personalities for the point of knowing what to expect from them. The immediate rejecter. You've ran into this one before. This woman is absolutely beautiful to the point where you feel deeply compelled to tell her that, but she immediately brushes you off. Perhaps she doesn't even acknowledge your gesture or existence. You gather the courage to just say hi, and she says nothing back. Or you do more, and even throw out a sincere compliment, but she shuts you down from the start. I'm not interested. No thank you. I have a boyfriend. I'm a lesbian. Fuck off. The reject lines come in all flavors and different levels of callousness. This rejection can be damaging to the confidence of a guy, and is often the reason many guys don't have any. If this type of woman didn't exist, you'd have no problem approaching and going after the women you were most attracted to. It is the existence of this woman that has made you afraid of them, not just her rejection, but also being seen by others as it is dished out. Here's the tricky part. Be thankful that this woman exists. A tremendous debt is owed to her. Why, you may ask? She just hurt you deep inside and is ruining this experience pursuing the women you want. How could you ever thank such a bitch? There are 3 reasons to. 1. She was upfront and honest with you about it. There are many women who would do much worse than immediately reject. They would give you a fake phone number, or agree to a date only to flake on it, or give you a chance when she's not really interested, only to ghost on you later, leaving you feeling worse and further confused. Or perhaps they'll manipulate you with the possibility of sex in order to get material things from you, like free meals and fancy dates. But this woman hit you with the truth right away, saving your time, monetary investment, and emotional grief. 2. It is because of this woman that few men even make an attempt with the top 10% of women. And that's a good thing, because your competition for such a small percentage is greatly reduced. You never know if a woman you approach is an immediate rejecter or one of the other types, so you take a risk each time. The fact that you're willing to take such a risk makes you stand out not just to her, but to all women. Most guys will not do what you're doing because of her. And the fact that you did it anyway makes you much different and far more desirable. And 3, when you wind up with another woman from the top 10%, it is because of this woman's existence that other men respect you more. They know how hard it is to get a quality woman from that small percentage because they've received her rejection. If these women never rejected men, would they be all that desirable and the men with them that enviable? Any man can watch beautiful women in porn, but the fact that he can watch it does not win him the respect of other men, because anyone can do it. But the man that can make beautiful porn star women fall head over heels for him, that is the man that other men will certainly respect. Therefore, do not be angry at these women when they reject you. Be polite and understanding, but above all, be thankful for them. They make the one you do end up with that much more valuable. They make the interaction you have with the one that is open to you much more pleasant and satisfying. If it were easy, everyone would do it, and thus no one would be irresistible. The party girl. The party girl is the opposite of the immediate rejecter. This girl is beautiful and she knows it. She also uses it to her advantage in order to get the things she wants. But, lucky for you, she wants sex. It is rare that you'll come across such a woman because of society's imperatives. It is looked down upon for a woman to go get the sex she wants. Thus, do not expect these girls to come looking for you. They do not actively ask for sex. They only put themselves in a position where it is likely to happen. These are the girls at dance clubs and bars that advertise their attractiveness. They are the ones that are down for one-night stands. They may even be your friend with benefits. They're not looking for a relationship, just the satisfaction of sex. No use for the meaning and connection behind it. On that note, you may find that once they've climaxed during sex, they won't bother to reciprocate because the sex was all about their satisfaction. You may as well be the vibrator with a body attached to it. That doesn't make this type worthless, or one to be avoided, however. They only need to be understood for what they are. Perhaps this type had her desires repressed for a long time, and is now committed to living them out. Perhaps in her past relationships the guy treated her as just a sex toy, and never tried to get her off. Now she finally discovered she can orgasm, realized how great it feels, and wants to feel it all the time. You must simply understand that these women are not the material for a relationship. They are good time girls, but not lifetime girls, and be okay with that. They'll only give you a night of validation, but to expect more than that will have you questioning your worthiness and self-esteem. The tricky part is that you may not know she is this type until after you've slept with her, and she then shows little to no further interest in you. And all this time you've built up in your head that she was perfect for you, played out a movie in your head about your future life together, only to get a bad heartbreak when that turns out to be a fantasy never come true. If this has happened to you, or does happen in the future, you must not blame the woman or use it as a justification for bitterness. Her experiences have made her this way, and there's nothing you can do, no matter how irresistible you are, to change that. And what's even better is that just because she was the first one to sleep with and validate you, that doesn't mean she's the only one. There is a great abundance out there. Look no further than the diversity of the types of women in the small top 10%. These party girls deserve only our compassion. A lesser man will use her for his pleasure and toss her out like a used condom, but the irresistible man will treat her no differently than he would a woman he could have more with, while understanding that he won't. This difference of having respect for her as a human is enough to make you memorable to her, which may come in handy later should she ever decide to change her ways. The attention-seeking manipulator. If there is one woman in the top 10% that needs to be avoided, it is this one for sure. This woman is also beautiful and knows it, also uses it to her advantage to get what she wants, but sex isn't at the top of that list. She wants things that are material, like free meals and entertainment, and things that are immaterial, like attention and admiration. This is the woman that will manipulate you with the possibility of sex to get it. She will waste your time, money, and energy, as that possibility will never become a reality. They learned early on in life that the way they look allows them to get what they want, more so than the average person. They know they can get random help from a complete stranger, be invited to the best parties, and never have to eat alone, let alone pay for the meal. She took the message of the princess role models quite literally. The idea behind their actions is that if they can get you to believe that there is a possibility of something more with them, or that one day you'll get your wish and get to sleep with them, they can make you do anything they want in the meantime. This can go on just during the initial phases of your relationship with them. Some may keep it within a temporary time frame, but others will have this go on indefinitely. Meanwhile, they have you take them to dinner and pay for it, have long phone conversations listening to their problems, and keep her company doing things you really don't want to do. Their game is only to interact with men in order to feel validated. These women often use apps like Tinder and Bumble with no intention of even meeting the guys on there. They just want to be able to show off to their girlfriends, "Looky here, I can get this many guys to like me," or show it to themselves for validation. They like to be wined and dined, but nothing more. The attention they receive without much effort is as great of a feeling as sex. While you linger in the hope that there is still a chance of sex with this woman, many dates and dollars later you wish she would have just been honest with you about her lack of sexual interest in you. Much like how women complain about men just using them for sex, men complain about this woman using them for their money and attention. And that is perhaps why this woman is this way. She was once used as just a sex toy in previous relationships and felt like these relationships were telling her that she was not worth anything more. Now this behavior of hers as a materialistic manipulator is to prove to her that she is worth more. Again, we must not respond to this woman with anger and resentment. While she misled you, it wasn't like you signed a contract with her that after a certain number of dates, you'd have enough sex credits to get it from her. If the possibility of sex is what allowed her to manipulate you, then you must ask yourself if that was all you really wanted from her. Or a better question to ask when deciding which woman you want is, do I want her to really be with her, or do I just want to be seen with her? Even the most beautiful women on the outside can be quite ugly on the inside, and here is a great example of that. Lo and behold, finally there was one that gave you appreciation for the immediate rejecter. If you were hoping to build up sex credits, why not just go with an honest prostitute? Sure, you'd rather earn a woman's affection than pay for it, but the truth is that in a lot of ways, you pay for it either way. The prostitute's prices are at least fixed, disclosed, and proportionate with the product sold. The way to deal with these women is not to avoid them entirely, because like the party girl, you can't know right away that they are this type. The way to handle these and reveal them for what they are is to keep track of, preferably by journal, how much of the following you spend on them: time, energy, attention, and money. It is only fitting that those four things form the acronym TEAM, because a relationship needs to be reciprocal and a team effort. But more importantly, a relationship needs to be transformational, not transactional. Establish for yourself limits on how much of these four things you'll be willing to spend, and do not go past those limits. The mere fact that you have them will separate you from other men that she's used to manipulating. And when she doesn't keep getting what she's used to getting, like attention, she will wonder why and want it back. The way to handle them is to show that you care very little. If she threatens to leave, do not panic. Conversely, the opposite yields a better result. A woman's ace in the hole is her sexuality. If you take that away from her, she will have to find another way to be what a man wants or remain alone, because her sex appeal will not last forever. This is why women hate men who play the field and call them the derogatory term players. The players are immune to their power of sex appeal, and they now must snare high-quality men with something else, like reciprocation. After 3 dates, if you haven't gotten the action you were hoping for, just cut your losses and move on. Most men don't, because they believe they have limited options when it comes to women. And this woman uses that limited belief to her advantage. And later in this chapter, you will see that you do not have limited options, only limited time. Having been hurt by the immediate rejecter and the attention-seeking manipulator, many men have grown angry at all women in general. This is a big part of what has created MGTOW. But before we continue to the relationship seeker, a very important message needs to be brought up to address this. Filter out the anger. As Yoda once said, you must never be angry, especially at any of these women, even the immediate rejecter. While the rejection carries a horrendous sting, and researchers have found one that even causes physical pain, it is not the woman's fault. The enemy is the anonymous authority that made this world the way it is with its imperatives. Also, what makes people react to you has little to do with you and everything to do with their filters. Mental filters dominate everything in our lives. Everything we go through is passed through them, and they form the basis of our beliefs and actions. When you see the girl of your dreams, say for example she's brunette, that passes through a mental filter, where a memory or fondness for such a thing is invoked in your mind, which makes you extra attracted to her. This is an example of the mental filter in action. Because of this filter, you may stare at her longer, follow her like a stalker to keep checking her out, or maybe even muster up the bravery to go talk to her, all because of the filter. Realization of this mechanism's existence is the first step to improving your life and not just your love life. Can we pinpoint these filters? Yes, we can. The first set of filters are your senses: sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch. They take in a lot of information, but there is also a great deal of information they ignore, particularly sight, which is the most relied upon of them. Certain parts of reality can't be picked up by them, such as how your eyes can't see the force of gravity. They can only see its effect. You can't see sound waves, but you can hear their results. You can't see UV rays. You can only feel what they do to your skin. You don't see all of reality. You see only what the brain has the capability of interpreting. Have you seen the famous illustration that looks like it could be a duck or a rabbit? Whether you think the animal pictured in it is a rabbit or a duck, is any opinion really wrong? No. We're using the same eyes, but different filters. We can't observe reality objectively, so the way you see the world might be very far from the truth, and there's no way to tell. The next set of filters come from your experiences. If you've placed your hand on a hot burner, you've learned to never do that again. That experience is driven largely by sense, but other experience filters come not from senses, but sheer memory of events. Like if you ever loaned money to a friend only to have them not repay you, in which case you've learned never to loan money to them, and every request they make for another fails to pass through that filter successfully. The final set of filters comes from your beliefs. Senses and experiences have worked to create some of them. All believe the sky is blue because when we look at it, blue is often what you see. And you don't believe your friend is creditworthy because of past experience. Every behavior was born out of a belief, and every belief is the source of a specific behavior. And these behaviors born out of the beliefs continue to reinforce these beliefs. The beliefs dictate the decision of whether to entertain or dismiss a certain thought. Emotions, values, ambitions, plans, and expectations are all the result of the filters at work. This forms the map used for your life, which isn't an actual terrain. All maps have some inaccuracy because the world is not flat. In the same way, everyone has their own map of the world, which has its own inherent inaccuracy. So when women anger you, what you must remember is that it isn't you they are rejecting, pissing on, or throwing away. It is just their filters at work. For example, if a girl had an alcoholic for a father who abused her verbally and physically, but you approach her with a beer logo on your hat or even holding a beer, she may reject you just for that. This isn't something to get angry at her for, she's just doing what her map makes her do. Or perhaps her last boyfriend cheated on her, which has caused her to create a new filter that all guys are not to be trusted. It's not an attack on you when she rejects you. It's only a misguided map that you don't have the power to change. There are 2 moves you must make. Keep moving on. Forget about the rejecter, because somewhere out there is a girl whose map is more favorable to you. And 2, examine your own map now that you're aware of it, and crumple it up. Just as you don't like how the maps of others leads them to ignore and reject you, don't allow yours to make people feel bad about themselves in the same way. Live your life instead by the suggestions of a compass, rather than the dictations of a map. Think about how much energy is lost over pointless arguments that no side will win because their maps are so different. Don't let this happen to you, and don't let your map or theirs push you into anger. Now, finally to the last female archetype, and the one that you really want to set your sights on. The relationship seeker. This one is the toughest nut to crack, but well worth the effort. The immediate rejecter is a hard no. The party girl is a sure thing, but only for tonight. The attention-seeking manipulator is a long, delayed, and drawn-out no. But the relationship seeker is a long, delayed, and drawn-out possibly yes, possibly no. This woman is beautiful and knows it, like the rest, but that doesn't mean she'll use it as a tool to get what she wants. Instead of her beauty causing her to wield it as a sword like the manipulator, it causes her to raise her shields. This woman has had the unpleasant experience and revelation when she told an unfunny joke and all the guys listening laughed their asses off. Her fear is to go through life without anyone ever seeing her for who she really is, behind the beauty. She's monogamous, or at least has great respect for it, and hopes that kind of loyalty can be shown toward her. So anything sexual is something she'll only engage in when it's in the context of a committed relationship or marriage. But inside the soul of this woman there is a battle raging between the wholesome girl society's imperatives have forced her to become, and the sexual being that she truly is deep down inside, as hard-coded by her biology. She reads trashy romance novels with explicit sex scenes, but doesn't make that public. She wants sex as much as you do, but doesn't want to be responsible for it. Society has told her not to have sex, but her biology tells her she must have it. Thus, deep down, she really wants it, but doesn't want to be the one that causes and initiates it. She relies on you to do that. Many times when this woman falls in love, she has sex or gets into a relationship, she'll say, "It just sort of happened." She may tell a story about how he swept her off her feet, took her totally by surprise, and a pleasant one at that, or just gave her that moment of soulmate indication that she's grown up watching and reading about in books and movies made for women. She wants to be led. That's the main thing you have to do. Take the lead. The societal pressure on her can also be attributed to why she only wants to do sexual things in the context of a relationship. But the irresistible man who has the strong verbal and nonverbal communication skills, game, as they call it, can relieve her of these pressures and get her to step out of this world-dictated comfort zone. The man that can relieve her of this, she will give her deepest loyalty to. If you ever see a gorgeous woman with a man and she's unquestionably committed to him, despite being able to have any man she wants any time she wants, this is why. On that note, the man she is with is not just the man she wants, but many other women want, a man with multiple options. It is natural to think that this woman knows her value, knows her price, and that only a man of a reciprocal mind can make her believe that the exchange between the two of them is even. Maybe he doesn't have to pay a premium, but be awarded a discount. There's just one problem with this thinking. There's a stranger truth that one would not expect. This woman is very insecure. Most women are more afraid of men than men are of them. She puts tremendous effort into her physical appearance, believing it validates her because guys are attracted to it, but this is a losing battle against Mother Nature and Father Time. Anything about her physical appearance will slowly dissipate as the clock turns. Her beauty, and all done to enhance it and highlight it, is only a shortcut she takes in hopes of attracting the most high-quality man. So don't let this overpower you. Another thing this woman believes is that her personality validates her, as it should, but she takes shortcuts with this one too. You may have noticed a lot of women adopting cute personas. They emphasize a love of Disney characters, like being treated as and called princess, go crazy over cute animals, and have mastered a girly giggle. The hope is that this cuteness will be something that the high-quality man grows fond of, and will stay with her for it even as she ages past her beauty years. Don't let this overpower you either. Overall, they fear being judged, so they adopt the shortcuts of appearance and personas. Thus, there is no reason to ever fear approaching such a woman. And where do you find such a woman? There are a few places that the author knows of for sure, but none of them are dating sites or apps. These women can be found at the beach. You've seen them there, no doubt. They're not self-conscious about their bodies, like many women who are uncomfortable in bikinis. These women wear them with pride. Even better, they may be surfer girls or lifeguards. If you ever see one of these, do not hesitate to go talk to them. Take away the beach and the ocean, and what do you see? A woman flaunting her beauty and sex appeal in a way that says, "Notice me." She wouldn't do this if she didn't want to be noticed. And why would she want to be noticed if not for attracting a high-quality man? These women can also be found on the dance floor, but not at those nightclubs where the music blares so loud you can't hear yourself think, let alone talk, but rather social dance clubs for salsa, bachata, cha-cha, and swing. In these dances, the women often play the role of the follow, while the man takes the lead. This is explicit evidence of a woman that wants to be led, so take it. Take away the music and the setting of the dance floor, and what do you see? What does it look like the man and the woman dancing are doing? It looks quite a lot like a sex act, but she participates in it gleefully, not recoiling in disgust like she's being unwantedly groped. Far from it. She looks like she's enjoying it as much as sex. Look at the smile on her face after she's been spun. It's almost as if she were just given the most intense orgasm of her life. These women can be found in yoga classes where each pose and move is an expression of her femininity. How often have you seen an unattractive woman do yoga? Just having the flexibility to do most of the moves requires great physical condition, and the mindfulness they learn in these classes creates a sweet personality that wants things to be harmonious, one of the feminine mindsets that men are attracted to. Take away the yoga mats and meditation music, what do you see? Women in tight pants, posing in a way that says, I'm a peaceful person that feels for others and cares for myself, and oh yeah, check out my ass. Great thing about all three of these, there are low barriers to entry. Any guy can learn to dance, sign up for yoga class, and go to the beach. But to be an irresistible man, that requires more. But now that you know what you're looking for and where to find it, let's show you how to get it.
Thank you for listening to this free sample of the book, Never Ghosted Again, The Art of Being Irresistible, by Cairo Copeland. If you enjoyed it and want to hear or read the rest, or want to listen to it free of ads, visit reinventideal.com/ghosted. The book is available on Kindle, paperback, and Audible at reinventideal.com/ghosted.